Good morning, Suzanne Joy.
Good morning, Deborah, LeeAnn.
Um, we were having kind of a fun discussion before starting the recording, but I wanted to introduce our topic as we tune in today. Um, Gene Key 12 with the shadow of vanity um, to the Siddhic state of purity. And the gift is
Discrimination?
discrimination.
Discernment? Discrimination? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'll look it up. But the thing to me is when listening to the transmission that Richard Rudd did on this key, I thought I have to have this somewhere prominent because this is this. It sounds like he was describing my life. Um, the people who have pushed love away, because we're afraid of being loved or of loving, like like our little hearts couldn't handle that.
Oh, that's right, because it's about aloneness. Yeah.
Yes. And so it was easier for me to just be alone, which I did for a long time. And then I didn't get married till I was 37 years old. I was like not having anything to do with that business. But the other thing that I thought was fascinating was about how we need more space because we feel like we're being uh, engulfed or not safe if we're too close to another. So those words just
Hmm.
hit me this morning, and I thought, oh my God, where do we, where I can see where I have, but would anybody else be joining me on this? Like where they've pushed away beauty, love, goodness, amazingness, because we're like, ooh, that's too big. That might be too good. That might be too fun. I don't know. I mean, you know me. What do you think?
Well, I've certainly seen patterns like that within you. Um, you're like, no, 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 that's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then when we when we remember our allness, our oneness, our that we can't be hurt by allowing more love in or by loving more. Um, I mean, not really. Our little bodies might be, or our egos might be, but anyway, I need you to take over because this was
Well,
kind of knocked me on my feet or off my
well,
feet.
when I think about that allness thing, it really it perplexes me because you're holding all of the dichotomies, all of the everything. Hmm. Man, that just hits my heart. Um, and I guess that's the purity of being. Um,
And the tears that we're feeling.
yeah,
Discuss this. It is the purity. It is the coming back to that.
that we're all of it, and that it consumes us.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so we may make this a very short conference
Yeah.
because we're both kind of beclumped. Um, I think I feel, and I think I know if I put my hands on my belly and go all the way down, that this is what the Christ consciousness, the divine feminine, the energies that are moving us out of this 3D land into the 5D and beyond is literally, I feel like sometimes I'm being pushed. Like you don't get to, nope, keep going. And I'm like, but I know that discomfort, functional world. And they're like, that's where you going, honey. So, um, and there's moments where I can relax and allow myself to be in that. like to swim and float in that allness, oneness. And then there's other times where I can still feel, oh, well, oh, the whatever that is, the sensitivity that's it almost is makes me hypersensitive or something. Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Well, I've been dancing in the holding the negative and the positive as all of the experience and looking at the neutrality of it or the purposefulness of it, not attaching to a specific outcome. I think that's the biggest challenge that we have as humans, especially when you feel safe or you feel held and loved. And what I realized, and as I was contemplating this key, is the purity of our essence is held in the safety of the divine, in our own divine essence. And as we continue to trust and follow our own inner GPS to be held in that space, we will coordinate and co-regulate and co-create with others that are at that frequency.
And
And
how
I,
vanity keeps us feeling like we're alone or we're not attached or that we can't handle it or it's too big. I mean, vanity is making our humanness more important than this vast interconnected consciousness that we're all a part of. I mean, it just feels, I'm like, oh, that is really vain, you know?
and
That,
to think that any one of us knows it all is just hilarious. And I mean, we're doing all the best we can here. I'm like, keep swimming, Suzanne. Um,
feeling, and we think that we're feeling it all. No, we're not. We're feeling what our body is feeling. We're feeling what the sensations and the old stories and the old patterns have wired in our physical beingness. It's not all of it. I think that's so funny because I remember even saying, "Oh yeah, I got to make sure we feel all of it, so we can move through it." No.
so one of the things that as I was contemplating this morning, was recognizing that sometimes we're in the process of just rewiring our whole system, brain circuitry, recognizing the infinitesimal is all around us. And if we think that we know anything, we know nothing. And it's our own operating system is changing. And there, I felt like this initiation of joy. And, joy can happen in the most simplest of ways. I sometimes think that I've, you know, made it grander than it has been. But when I got to see fireflies, I mean, I still giggle. It's very fairy-esque,
Yeah.
the the ability to see joy all around us and witness it.
Yeah.
It's not far away, and to hold the dichotomy of the depth of life and the pain that we've experienced, and yet the lightness of life and the purity of it,
And
is
the heat
is
and the
pretty
love.
remarkable.
Mm,
Um, and to know, ooh, mm, to know our innate wholeness, I mean, it's expanding.
yes.
We, as a species, I feel, I know, we are expanding our capability, our capacity to hold more, to be more, to show up, mm,
Or fully.
more fully expressed as ourselves
Mhm.
in our beingness. And so sometimes, yeah, that growth spurt or that change is super uncomfortable. Um, and we don't know where it's going to lead us. And so that part is kind of a little unnerving. And so our humanness is like, ah.
I know.
Um, But
What
then
did you
I
call it?
also,
Like being in the trapeze? Like, so we've left behind this bar and we're reaching for the next bar, but we're in limbo. We're in that space in between. And our ego is fighting, it's fighting tooth and nail to stay in control. And so how do we relax? That's the word that keeps coming to me. Can I relax into love, into purity, into the beauty of life, the truth of oneness? And my body, I'm not gonna say my whole system, because parts of my body and my you're same with you. Parts of your awareness are like, oh yeah, woohoo, we're going, we're moving. And then there's the older wiring, I guess you're just saying, and the older feelings and the memories and the stories and all of that that we are literally letting fall away. And
and and and it's painful and it's sad, and
yeah, yeah,
we get to feel it all.
yeah. And some people are skipping on through this, and there's no comparison. That is not helpful either. And that's another form of vanity of comparing, well, this person's got, they've got it easier. No, no. We all have our
We all have our own, as I say, we all have our own shiznit,
and our own paths.
and our
And
own path. So there's
then
no,
this is where can we be open-hearted enough to allow in the loving support that is all around us
right,
versus doing I've
right,
got this.
right. Well,
I don't need
and
you.
that's where I want to reiterate that it's best to make choices from a neutral standpoint, find the lessons, and rely on your soul self and
Mm,
your divinity, and know that things are being constructed in the unseen that we have yet to see
yeah,
here now,
yeah.
and trust it. You
Or
may
not.
not see it right this minute, and that's where patience comes in. It's like when you know that something is growing under the soil, we tend to like want to dig it up and say, are you actually doing something?
Or are there roots happening? What's going on over there? Yeah. It's funny because I bought a new shrub for the garden yesterday, and I'm dying to see it bloom. It's not supposed to bloom till July, August. And because it's going to be transplanted, it may be in shock, who knows. But it's called blue and gold for a reason. And I'm like, okay, so when do I get to see the gold? So I can feel that, and I'm like, okay, it's going to do its thing when it's ready to do its thing. And I can be much more trusting of plants, of the tomatoes we put in, of all of the things that are going on outside. It's this inner operating system that I'm less trusting, and it's other people that I'm maybe less trusting of.
Oof,
Nature,
girl.
I feel like it can do whatever it does. I mean, we're having 55 degrees and tomorrow is going to be 98, and that's the weather. Okay, no big deal. But man, somebody does something or says something and it hits
Well, and
me
that's
away.
that's where I think it's like coming back home to self, recalibrating, resetting, understanding your own truth, and not having somebody else dictate a response from you. So we I think you did that with a that chart that you were talking about with, what is your reactivity? Like, we've got to really check ourselves.
And dropping in, tuning in is the purpose of these conversations.
Right.
It is not about flying along on this top of the water. Oh, I won't ever let us do that. You know me. I'm always underneath, go down deep. So, but I feel like that is our home. And that is where we tap into the oneness and the allness and the beauty and the purity. But it is really hard to get there if we're caught up, you know, in the news cycle or listening to somebody else's stuff that's going on in their life. I mean, I can feel all my stuff come up when I'm wanting to be there for someone else. And how do I drop back in and hold my center so that I'm able to
That
love?
is probably one of the biggest tests, is not to get caught up in somebody else's story. What I've found that as I've talked with several people during the course of the past couple of weeks, stuff is coming up for them that hasn't been processed. And so they get to bear witness to themselves
Yeah.
through the eyes of what I've been experiencing. So, um,
And we're all unlocking each other's genius, each other's hearts, and
yeah,
that we may not have even realized. Like
right.
saying something offhand, even to somebody in the checkout line at the store, can create an awareness that may not have been there before, and a connection,
Yeah,
a reminder that we're connected.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, do you have the mudra today or
I
not?
do. It's beautiful. It's a little bit more complicated than normal, but you take your right pinky finger and you wrap it in the three um, fingers of your left hand so that you're kind of holding, right? It's kind of like I can be held over here. And then you put your index fingers together into like a little, remember, we used to do the church steeple? We
Mm-hmm.
do this with our hands, and our thumbs are straight up.
Okay.
So it looks like that. And we hold it in front of our heart. And this is the mudra of purity, which is, I'm going to uncross my legs so I can get all my electromagnetic energies online, which allows us to drop into the innocence, the purity of a child's mind, the easiness of loving and being loved for most of us, not everyone. But if we can drop into that space of interconnected oneness and hold that, breathe into it, and then exhale it so that it goes to all the cells of our body. We are safe. We are safe to love, be loved. Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Much love. Till next time.
Yeah, we all need it right now, don't we?
Yeah.